how would I put this? So, if you do wrong in this world, if you break the law, guess what? Seamus Wolf was a Supreme Court judge, and he still is to see he hasn't resigned yet. He ultimately refused to resign. Even though he signed off ready to say that this was law, these COVID laws. And the government, when they were on the jolly down to Clifton and County Galway, just went ahead and had a party. And he's getting a pay rise. He's getting a 5,000. He's probably getting more. That's probably what they're telling us. But in reality, might be 60, 70,000, 80,000. I wouldn't trust these politicians in Dáil Éireann if they were the last people on out. Because, my Christ, this government, I'm telling you, like literally, North Korea, China, even China would have a lot more fear of a government. Because this government, they look after themselves. And this is just pure and simple. They look after themselves. They look after the cronies. They look after the bankers. They look after the bondholders. They couldn't give a damn about you and me, who are the ones who are paying them. And it's our money. It's you and I it's not their money. It's our money. It's the people of Ireland who work hard day in, day out and pay their taxes. That's the money that's paying them. And we're giving it to Seamus Wolf for going ahead down to Galway. People couldn't go to mass, people couldn't go to funerals, couldn't go anywhere. People were stuck in their houses. And we just basically just said, here you go. There's another 5,000. They added maybe 60,000. And this is the add insult to injury. The nurses, they wouldn't pay the student nurses. Even though, they do have to work out long hours, and we know that. There's a lot of student nurses have to work long hours. And if you do a job, you get paid for it. And that's my opinion on life. If you do a job, you do it, you put in the time, you put in the effort, you get paid. Of course you do. That's as simple as that. If you put in the time, put in the effort, then you're entitled to payment. Not like these TDs, they just sit in Dáil Éireann for about 5 minutes and get a big sum of money at the end of the week. Along with a few envelopes too. I have no doubt that's going on in Dáil Éireann. I have no doubt. Because again, this government just shows complete contempt. Like, honest to God, I'm trying to keep calm here because literally I'm working my head here in trying to think to myself, what kind of fucking idiots do we have in government? Because again, I never think we ever had anybody who has a bit of common sense in this country. Because you know what they decided to do? Do you remember Bertie Howe, Brian Cowan, all the former Taoiseachs, Brian Cowan especially, they bankrupted the country and ran off fucking somewhere and went off, I don't know where they are now, but guess what? Bertie Howan's on 500 and something a day in a pension. 500 and something, that's a day. That's how much he's getting in a pension a day from you and I, the people who have to pay his pension. 500 and something a day, that's probably going to be now about 1,000 a day. I really wouldn't put him. And this is what this is what the government, the cabinet said, that's more important. Businesses are closing, people are dying from suicide, people are dying because they can't get there's not enough hospital staff, and it's not enough appointments for many things. And there's not enough housing and everything, and there's people dying in the streets. And you know what they're like, let's fucking go and give money to judges. Let's go up to pay for judges, Supreme Court judges. We have to keep them on our side. We have to give them a few bob extra, which I think it's a lot. I think they're giving more than they're saying, because obviously I wouldn't trust this government if it's the last thing on planet Earth. Because this government have just shown time and time again, they could not give a fuck about you and I who pay them and who vote them in. As long as they get in, they couldn't give a fuck about us after that. And when election comes around, that's the only time they seem to give a fuck. And then after, since they get in, they couldn't give a damn. And every one of them, and forgive me for my language, but I am fucking pissed, and I was just say straight, I'm fucking sick of this government taking advantage of people. Taking advantage of people that are lying on the ground, basically begging for help. And this government turns the back on the people, literally full blank. Turns the back on the people. We've seen that in Golfgate. We've seen it time and time again. Leo leaking the document. If he had any decency, he done wrong. If he done something wrong, he should have faced consequences. He should have took a big pay cut to say to the people of Ireland, I'm genuinely so sorry for this. But no, not even one thing was done against him. Not one thing. Again, it just shows you they think they can't be accountable. They think that nobody can tell them, no, you did wrong here. Again, It's about, if I done it, if you done it, we face consequences. If you break the law, if you do anything wrong, you face consequences and you learn from your mistake. And you say sorry and you apologise. And maybe you might, do something to make it up to people. But again, this government hasn't done anything to make anything up to anybody. This government has done more to hurt people than make it up. My God, like honest to God, I couldn't make it. You really couldn't make this up. And I'm getting even more. I'm getting frustrated, and I can see now I'm getting extremely frustrated than I was a few minutes ago, because at this moment in time, you look at the student nurses that they voted against it. The people who were clapping them and saying, "Oh, they were great people," Simon Howes and the rest, they voted against them. They voted against student nurses being paid. What? Like, what a kind of idiots? What kind of idiots do we have in this? And they vote for junior ministers about 2 months ago. They're saying to give them pay rise, €16,000 each. Nearly €3 million of our taxpayers' money, and they couldn't get. They didn't ask you and me. What do you think? And guess what? Everybody would say they're fucking useless. These two who we have at the moment, they're fucking useless. Everyone we have at the moment. But it's just like, honest to God, I don't know what to say. I really don't. Like I'm really am just on the breaking point of what I can, what anybody can just, because I don't know how people could just turn around. Like, I seen somebody on Facebook talk with this, and they just turn around and say, "What do you want us to do? What does the people around? What do you want people to do? What do you want the Irish people to do about it?" And you're just like, oh my Christ, these people are wasting, because this money that they're giving to these judges that don't deserve. These judges sit in big fucking chairs in the courtrooms and let half of the people off, and they don't do anything. People who break the law, they just basically pat them on the back and give them a fucking medal for it. Like, fucking shame is what fuck's happened. My apologies for cussing, but my God, I am best swear. And my blood is boiling. Like, literally, honest to God, I haven't been this thick in a good long time. And my blood is literally boiling. I can feel it in my arm. My blood is boiling with the wage, because I'm just sick. I'm sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it. Because this government, again, I can explain for an hour or two about how much in the last few months this government has shown the people of Ireland they don't give a fuck about them. And as simple as that. And I might say straight, because honest to God, every sign's there. And this is just the last straw that broke the camel's back. And as simple as that. Because I try and be, in life, I try and be fair. But how can you be fair with these cons and crooks in Dáil Éireann? Simple as that. Cons and crooks. Because literally, people in Mountjoy done less than these politicians. And you just like get in the bin. Like, honest to God, get in the bin. Because it's just, I honestly don't know. I really don't. And I don't know how people in this country take it. I really don't know how people could take it in this country. Saying, they deserve pay. And this is what some people are saying. These judges deserve pay. Seamus Wolf deserves a big pay rise. And it's just like getting the bin. I'm just saying, I'm sick. I'm honestly sick of it. And I'm sorry for wearing and getting tick, because I am fucking tick, and I kept it in for a long, long time. And I said over the last few months, it's built up in me that I'm just fucking sick of this government. I might as well say straight, I'm sick of them. I'm sick of looking at every one of them. And half of these fucking people we have as ministers, and the Taoiseach and the Taoiseach, barely, and I mean barely, got in. Like Stephen Donnelly, for example, 15 count. And he's Minister for Health. Where in the name of God is this country going? And that's what I just have. This is the question I have to you and I at home. Why are we putting up with these people? Like, honest to God, you really couldn't make this up. Because, at this rate, like, I built it up for so long. But I just literally, I apologise again, because I'm just fed up. I'm sure people can see it in my face. I'm fed up. I'm just literally fed up with this government taking advantage of people. Really just taking advantage of people. And then when somebody goes looking for something, like mental health services or something like that, they fucking won't give you the money for it. Simple as that. This is the crooks that we have. And they give fucking Bertie Howard and Brian Cowan and the rest of them crooks. Like, literally, the crooks, the mafia looks like a pile of toddlers compared to these politicians. And you're just like, my Christ, do we have anything else in the country we could do for these fucking elite and these way of family? Like, honest to God, I honestly don't know. And I'm just on a tangent here, so I think I stop, because I'm just literally about to blow a fuse. And literally, I think I have already blown a fuse. Because I'm sure people don't understand. I'm just sick of it. Every week I have to come on here, and I say what the government are fucking doing to the people this time. And it's not nearly ever, not really positive. I would love to just say that the government have said, look, we've done a few things bad, right. We're going to make it up to people, right. We're going to, do different things. We're going to try to cut back on this, that, and we're going to take huge pay cuts. First of all, never took a fucking pay cut any minute, so anything like that. And we're going to give it to the homeless on the streets. We're going to try and build houses with these pay cuts, in other words. Or we're going to try and get some more hospitals, more staff at schools, more equipment for special needs. I'd be like, they're making an effort, but really they're not making any effort. They're really just saying, fuck you, Ireland. We couldn't care less. Like, it's just evident to see they still get full pay, and they're getting expenses for this, that, and the other. And I'm not kid you not. They wanted expenses for computers, they wanted expenses for this. They bloody spent the Lord Mayor of Dublin, for example. I don't know where they spent €4,000 on pens. For example, I don't know where. How would you spend €4,000 on pens? I don't know. No offence to his or you, but my Christ, where did they think the money grows on? Like, honest to God, where did they think money grows? That's just my question. Like, honest to God, it's not right. It's simply not right. I'm sure everybody agree, and I'm sure everybody can see. People are lying in the streets. People are dying in the streets. People are begging for housing. People are begging for appointments, for mental health services and things like that. And they're saying there's no money. This is what you hear. No money. There's no money for it. There's no money. And then there's money for giving Tom and Dimmy over there, who are former TDs, who were there for fucking 50 years. And they're getting a big fucking pension at the end of it. And they're getting extra now. And you just like getting the bin. Like, I honestly don't know. I'm enough.